These are the darkest episodes of SpongeBob. Starting off with the one of many episodes, Graveyard Shift. One night, the Krusty Krab staff prepares for its 8 p.m. closing, which comes none too soon for Squidward. However, a customer walks up to the door and attempts to make an order. Squidward smugly informs him that they are closed, and the customer prepares to take his money elsewhere. Realizing the financial potential of a late-night shift, Mr. Krabs tears apart the closed sign and, against Squidward's wishes, proclaims the Krusty Krab to now be open 24 hours a day. Mr. Krabs then promptly leaves his employees. SpongeBob is overjoyed at this prospect and, as the night goes on, takes pleasure in the tasks he had no time to do during the day. When the time comes to take out the trash, however, he shows some hesitation towards the darkness outside. After going outside screaming to throw away the trash, he comes back in and calls it an easy task. Squidward, sensing SpongeBob's fear, weaves him a terrifying tale on the spot of a Hash-Slinging Slasher, a clumsy Krusty Krab fry cook from years past who accidentally chopped off his hand and had it replaced with a rusty spatula. Due to fatally being run over by a bus and posthumous termination, the Hash-Slinging Slasher returns every Tuesday night to exact vengeance on all who reside in the restaurant. Squidward goes on to explain the 3 signs of the ghost's return: the lights flickering on and off, the phone ringing with no one at the other end, and the arrival of the bus that had run the fry cook over. Squidward then laughs at SpongeBob's shrieks of fright, but when SpongeBob continues screaming, Squidward tells SpongeBob that he was joking and that the story is not true. 3 a.m. soon arrives and the restaurant is now completely devoid of customers or any other signs of life besides SpongeBob and Squidward. Suddenly the lights begin flickering, though Squidward initially thinks SpongeBob is doing it in a failed attempt to scare him. After realizing that nobody is touching the light switch, Squidward then blames the faulty electrical wiring, as the restaurant was not built to run 24 hours a day. The next moment, the phone rings but remains silent when Squidward answers. This time, SpongeBob thinks that Squidward is trying to scare him, but denies this and becomes more nervous as these are 2 of the 3 signs that supposedly signal the arrival of the Hash-Slinging Slasher. While trying to remember the 3rd sign, a bus pulls up to the Krusty Krab, even though the buses supposedly do not run so late. Fearing it to be the Hash-Slinging Slasher, Squidward screams in horror, believing the events they witness to be supernatural. SpongeBob and Squidward say their final words as the figure approaches the counter. But when the figure enters the light, however, he turns out to be just an ordinary person holding a spatula, not the Hash-Slinging Slasher. The episode ends in a good note where all the characters are seen laughing. The next episode is Rock Bottom. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick board a bus to get home from Glove World. They accidentally board the wrong bus, which takes them down a cliff. The cliff leads to a sort of aphotic zone called Rock Bottom, inhabited by multiple unusual and strange deep-sea animals. SpongeBob tells Patrick to wait while he goes to try and find a bus schedule. While SpongeBob is gone searching, Patrick gets on the bus to go home but accidentally leaves SpongeBob behind. SpongeBob tries to find a bus that will take him home, but nothing happens. After several unsuccessful attempts to get on a bus, SpongeBob heads to the bus station and waits in a very long line. By the time he gets to the front, he finds out that the last bus to Bikini Bottom will leave in a few seconds. But before he has time to react, it pulls away from the station. The ticket master tells SpongeBob that it was the last bus until morning and leaves for the night, shutting off the lights in the process. SpongeBob, who is starting to show fear and anxiety, takes out his glove flashlight, but the battery shorts out, leaving him in advanced darkness. As he stands alone in the station giving himself a pep talk, he hears the familiar raspberry sound echoing and makes a mad dash back to the cliff. The raspberry sound is getting closer and SpongeBob cowers in fear, yelling out a weak threat. As the creature closes in, a bright light engulfs SpongeBob, and he lets out a scream. He is relieved when he notices the light is coming from a friendly-looking anglerfish creature who found SpongeBob's lost glove balloon. SpongeBob sarcastically thanks him for solving the balloon problem, but begins rambling about his other problem, trying to get home. The anglerfish blows up the balloon and ties it to SpongeBob's wrist, helping him using the unorthodox method of balloon travel. SpongeBob finally heads back home and the episode ends. In this episode, the sheer anxiety of being alone and the unsettling visuals, psychological horror elements make Rock Bottom a uniquely creepy and a dark episode. The next episode is The Nasty Patty. This one takes the #1 place of being the darkest episode of all times. One bright sunny morning at the Krusty Krab, The health inspector arrives for a surprise inspection. Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob to get him one of everything on the menu. After a few dishes, he orders one ordinary Krabby Patty before he can pass judgment. Meanwhile, a television report reveals that an imposter is passing himself off as a health inspector, conning restaurants in order to get free food. Mr. Krabs believes that the one in their venue is the imposter. Mr. Krabs brushes of SpongeBob's suggestion to just talk to him about it and decides to play nasty prank on him. He and SpongeBob concoct the nasty patty using volcano sauce, seahorse radish, and toenail clippings, even drops it in the toilet. And Mr. Krabs dries it with his filthy gym socks. However, before the health inspector could consume it, a fly goes into his mouth, causing him to choke and spill the patty on the floor. He then slips on the patty and hits his head on the table, knocking him out. As SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs enjoy watching him suffer from the kitchen, thinking he already ate it, another TV report comes on and says the imposter has been arrested. His picture is then shown, revealing him to be a different individual. Realizing they had killed the wrong inspector, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs begin to panic and blame each other. Mr. Krabs ultimately decides to take the body out and bury it so that nobody would discover what they did. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs take the health inspector out to the top of a hill and quickly bury him. The police then show up, offering to take them back to the Krusty Krab. It then started to rain, causing the dirt covering the health inspector to turn to mud, which caused the health inspector to slide back down the hill. SpongeBob placed the shovel in the trunk, but he looked distraught. Mr. Krabs told SpongeBob to keep his cool, but just then the corpse of the health inspector slid right next to them. Mr. Krabs started freaking out and told SpongeBob to load the health inspector in the trunk while he distracted the cops. Mr. Krabs then told SpongeBob that once they arrived at the Krusty Krab, he should take the corpse to the back and stow it in the freezer. When SpongeBob arrived, the back door was locked, which forced him to enter from the front. He eventually made his way to the back and did what Mr. Krabs told him. The police were just about to leave, but one of them didn't have ice in her drink, so she went to the back to get some. Mr. Krabs tried to stop her, but she insisted. Before she could open the freezer, Mr. Krabs admitted to the crime and framed SpongeBob for it, but when she opened the freezer, the body wasn't there. Just then, the health inspector showed up. It turns out that he never really died, he was just unconscious. He then passed the Krusty Krab in fear of being hit in the head again, and the episode ended. This episode had a few dark traits, the most prominent being the murder. Although the health inspector didn't die, none of the characters knew this. The fact that SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs were laughing just as this fish was dying in front of them is one of the most messed up things in the entire show. Mr. Krabs is shown to be the most selfish person. He betrayed SpongeBob, even though he was pressured into helping Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob, who, keep in mind, is basically a child, had to drag a corpse and bury it. And what's worse is that they didn't even feel guilty, they were just worried about the consequences. There you have it, the 3 darkest episodes in SpongeBob. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.